In this video, I'll be showing you my analysis on gold so far. It's been a very interesting ride. For the past few weeks, I've been trading gold, GBP, and BTC USD. That's been like my watch list for the longest period of time, and there's been a consistent movement. I've noticed a consistent movement with gold, and gold has been making people a lot of money these days, and it's also been burning a lot of accounts, right? And if you are not really familiar with how the market just generally moves, it might be a little confusing for you, but I promise you that the system is the same. The system is simple as far as I'm concerned, right? And it has been working over time. So if you can see my chart, you'd see that I already have like some analysis done from like trades I've taken in the past. I'm looking at gold from the H4 time frame. I like to look at the market from higher time frames because it gives me a clearer perspective. And I generally just like to, I naturally like to wait for my trades. I don't mind waiting a couple days before it hits profits or whatever. So I like to just take my time and allow market do its thing. I'm not really a great fan of small time frames. I feel like there's a lot of noise that goes on in the smaller time frames, and I'm not sure that I like the way the market moves in those time frames. So I'd rather just stick to something that is steady for me and gives me like a more consistent flow, right? So I look at gold from, I do a top-down analysis most of the time, and looking at gold from the monthly time frame all the way down to even smaller time frame, you would notice that the movement has been consistent. The movement has been bullish over time. So we are naturally just looking at bullish movements, right? We're looking at opportunities where we can go in long, where we can just spot out areas where price has dropped for a bit, and we can get like better opportunities to just buy, right? So everything I've been doing on my H4 time frame is pretty much spotting out those movements, right? Spotting out points where I can actually just see the market going for a pullback and then taking my entry. So when I take my trades, I like to go with the trend of the market. It's usually the safest thing to do, right? If you're a beginner or even someone that's been in the game for a long time, and you want to be on the good side of things or on the safe side of things, the best side to always be on is the side of the trend. But of course, you still be able to catch some very interesting movements when there's a pullback in the markets that goes against the trend. But I would not advise you to do that if you do not really understand what you're doing in the market, right? So if you're just starting out and you're trying to explore and trying to figure out what strategy to stick to, one of the important things you need to note is whatever the strategy you're using, always ensure that the trade that you're taking is in line with the overall trend, right? Once you're able to, figure out what the overall trend of the market is, your job should just be waiting for those pullbacks, waiting for points where market has dipped a little or gone high a bit, right? So you can either buy or sell from depending on what the trend of the market is. So in this case for gold, it's been a bullish trend so far. Market has been buying for the longest, right? So everybody looking to make very serious money on gold right now will be thinking towards the buy direction. Yes, you could catch some very interesting sell movements, especially for folks that trade using smaller time frames and all of that. But for me, I don't do that. So I'm looking to go with the overall movement. I'm looking to see areas where price actually gives me that move so I could buy, because the market seems to be bullish right now. So these lines here represent patterns that I found on the M15. So because I use my H4 to give me like major trends based on what the overall trend of the market is, I go all the way to my M15 time frame to spot out some extra confirmation or some early entries in the market, and I've seen a lot so far, right? So if we go to the M15 now, you'd see like my previous patterns. So I am a pure price action trader. I like to analyze or do my analysis based on the market in itself, the naked chart formation. I do not like to use indicators, right? So when I'm spotting out my analysis, I'm going like straight up based on pure price action, based on the candlesticks, based on the trends, based on the zones, right? And I'm marrying all of these things together to see how I can interpret the market movements and spot out the next market direction. So this is M15, you can see how I spotted out patterns and patterns and patterns, right? In this case here, we have what looks like a flag pattern, right? We could also call this an expanding triangle. Let me just put it on the right spots right here. I'm very big on these patterns. I'm very, very big on these patterns. So you could also call this an expanding triangle. You see how price, broke out of this area and went all the way up, and then ultimately broke out of the resistance right here that was formed based on this pattern, right? Price did a breakout, came down for a retest, and just kept on buying like that. If we go to the H4, let me see what's on the H4 based on that. I think it's this one. So right here on H4, we have a demand zone right here, and this demand zone fell just right at the point of this resistance right here, and then there's a demand zone here. You can see that, during the formation of this flag or this expanding triangle or whatever we have here, price tested this demand zone, right, and gave us some bullish engulfing candlestick right here, right? So we could have had like a confirmation to go in for a buy, but going all the way to M15 as well gives us like an added confirmation, showing us that pattern, right? And seeing how price may have broken out of the pattern and given us an opportunity for entry. Now, looking at this from the H4 perspective, you can see the zone and you can choose that, okay, because it's bullish, because market has bought above this resistance and it looks like it's coming back to retest as support, but not just as support. Now we can see that price is literally at a demand zone right here. A demand zone was also formed, right? And apart from that, you see the candlestick respecting the fact that this is a demand zone. So everything just seems to like marry like themselves, right? So we can have this as an entry point, take our buy here and put our stop loss right below the reversal candlestick situation, just right here, and just let market move and aiming at the next major high, which would have been this point right here. And you can see that price would have indeed gotten to that level, right? Or we could have also gone all the way back to M15 to get like that extra confirmation, and that extra confirmation could just mean a lot. So you back to our M15 charts, you see price broke out of this trend line, broke out of this resistance right here, came back down for a retest, and at this retest level I can actually spot out a broken resistance here as well. So it gives us a point of entry. So one thing about using smaller time frames to get into your trade sometimes is once you're able to spot out that particular entry on a smaller time frame, it's easy for you to set out a stop loss based on the smaller time frame. So you are maximizing profit by using your higher time frame to like set your target profits based on the next major zone you think price is going to like reverse from. But when it comes to setting your stop loss, now you are using the smaller time frame based on the fact that it's your point of entry. So if I were to be trading on this particular market now, seeing how price has reacted to this zone, which was once a broken resistance and now turned like a new support, I could literally just take a buy position right here, maybe right after this candlestick, this hammer, put my stop loss right below it. Then I'm going all the way to the H4 to look out for the next zone. Now this is one of the ways to do it. It can be very interesting. This is it right here. Look out for the next zone right here, and you go crazy when you see the risk to reward 1 to 13. Risk to reward 1 to 13. Let me go all the way back to my M15 now. Yeah, this is it right here. So H4 has already given us the whole price is retesting the demand zone. Yeah, price is retesting the demand zone. I like that, right? It's looking very good. So coming all the way to M15 now, we're seeing like something else that also agrees with what H4 tries to tell us, right? But in this case now for M15, we are having a better entry. We're having a better entry with a better risk to reward, right? So right after this hammer, even if you choose that you don't want to get into the trade immediately after the hammer, and you're like, oh, I want to wait for like an extra confirmation, and you need that bullish candlestick to give you that extra confirmation first, you could just have your entry from this point, the next candlestick that formed, which is our confirmation candle right? And in that case, we'll just be having a 1 to 10 risk to reward. The difference is not so much, just 3% off that, right? It's still a very beautiful trade. Let's say this trade would have happened on the 21st of January, right? And our target profit would have been hit. No, not then. Our target profit would have been hit, say, on the 30th of January, right? So let's say like 9 days, approximately 9 days, waiting for this trade to hit with a solid 1 to 10 or 1 to 13 risk to reward, depending on where your entry is. It's beautiful, right? It's amazing. So this pattern has been kind of consistent with gold for me lately. Let me see what else we have on the other, flags, looking at it from H4. So, of course, this trade would have still been on, right? The first flag started from up here. Entry didn't pop until like much later, If I had to be taking my entry based on just the H4 time frame, I probably would not have gotten a very good risk to reward like this, right? But because of the fact that I had to like narrow it down to the M15 time frame, it was easy for me to get a good risk to reward, ratio, and the trade just, made like solid sense. So, if we look up ahead, we would see that we had another flag here. All right, let's concentrate on this flag because this was also another beautiful trade. It did hit target profit for me, but I've just not taken this out. And then I took another trade in between it. Like, it was crazy. And I sent it to the Telegram channel where I send like free signals. So if you're not on it, you could just hit the link in the description. So you join the channel. And yeah, whenever I drop videos as well, you could turn on post notifications. So whenever I drop videos and stuff, sorry, I'm a bit distracted. So whenever I drop videos and stuff, you'll be able to watch it. You'll be the first person to watch it. All right. So this is the other flag. Now, looking at it from M15, you can see that the flag is properly drawn, right? I love the flag pattern so much. The flag pattern is one of my favorite patterns, to be honest, because it rarely fails. It rarely fails. The TP, setting take profit based on the flag pattern is very like straightforward. You're measuring the length of the flagpole, and you know that whatever the case, I mean, not in all cases though, but most of the time when you measuring it based on the length of the flagpole and you are setting your take profit based on that, price almost always hits it. Even though there is a resistance zone somewhere or there's a support zone somewhere, price just somehow finds a way to, be in line with the flagpole length, right? So that, it's hitting take profit at the exact point where you need it to hit. Let's see. Look at the flag here. So you can see how price broke out of the flag, gave us a retest here, and then, went all the way for a buy. At this level, we have a demand zone formed in H4. This is a H4 demand right here. Right, and then the flag had already popped. Everything had already happened in this market. It looked very good. I think I missed an entry because I probably would have entered based on the flag right here. I'm not sure what happened, but I remember this entry very well, the entry from this point, and that's what I want to talk about. So you see I already highlighted my demand zone on H4, right? So as you can see, when price came into the demand zone, it formed a dragonfly doji, right, which is also like some sort of bullish reversal candlestick pattern. Yeah, and the moment that formed, I didn't even wait for an extra confirmation because I had a feeling that the confirmation candlestick would be long. The moment that formed, I just went in for my buy, right, and I set my stop loss right below the demand zone right there. But let's go back to M15. I think there was something I saw on M15 that sort of gave me like that extra confirmation. So yeah, on M15, while price was retesting that demand zone on H4, price was also, forming a hammer here, right here as well. I think this is a zone on M5. This would have been a demand zone on M5 or something. Let me go check that. See if I'm right. Or H1 zone or something. It should be a H1 zone. Yeah. It is a H1 zone. This is a H1 demand. Price also respected. Yeah, I remember seeing this one as well. Price also respected, the demand zone right here. Gave us a very solid dragonfly doji, right? Entry would have been from the same point, and take profit was just right here as well. So as you can see, price actually, did hit TP. I literally saw all of the confirmations, and what made it very solid for me was the fact that price actually visited and was rejected at this H4 demand. It's a big deal, right? First of all, the H4 time frame is a solid time frame. It's a time frame that is in between, swing trading and day trading and any other kind of trading, to be honest, right? And whenever price reacts to a major zone within that time frame, there's almost always like a steady movement, especially with gold. I've noticed that with gold is a very interesting thing to trade that respects zones on higher time frames. Like it's crazy when you set your zones on the H4 time frame, for instance. Just play around it, even though you are not one to use high time frames for your trades, right? You could just explore, just plotting out the zones on the H4 time frame and seeing how over time price respects that zone, based on that time frame and all of that. So that can also help you to sort of understand how steady the market can be, right? Especially when you're looking at it from the higher time frame. So when I trade gold, when I analyze the market on gold, I'm not looking out for too much. I'm just trying to spot out very easy, simple market movements, very simple price action movements, right? I'm looking out for the zones. I want to see how market is reacting around the zones. I want to see if patterns are forming, right? When I'm trading with the H4 time frame, I like to narrow it down to M15 for my entry. Sometimes I could just go all the way in on the H4 time frame for my analysis and my entry, right? But I do not like to go, lower than the H4 time frame when I'm doing like my overall analysis, because I don't mind staying long enough in the market, right? But I want to stay long enough to know that, it's worth it. So when I take trades like this, spotting out the higher time frame entries and stuff, and then taking my entries from lower time frame, it gives me a better risk to reward on my trade, right? So I see myself taking a trade. It's a 1 to 4 risk to reward, 1 to 6, 1 to 7. I just showed you how we could have gotten a 1 to 13. Even on the Telegram channel, I spotted out a trade that gave us a 1 to 6 risk to reward. Also, I think we had that trade. Like TP was hit even before like my original trade TP was hit. I think it was here. I think this was the trade. I remember very well. It was a zone right here. The demand zone was right here. Yes, I remember it. And then the moment price gave us like a morning star, just right here, I sent the signal to buy, and I was like, yo, take profit at this point. It was a 1 to 6. Okay, shows 1 to 5 here. Okay, but we did hit TP on this trade though. We did hit TP. The results was posted even on our IG and stuff, so you could check that out as well. But yeah, it's pretty much straightforward, right? I see a lot of people complain of not being able to understand how gold moves, but as far as I'm concerned, it's actually one of the simplest things if you really just are patient enough to wait for price to just hit the right spot. Some people are very impatient to the process because it's gold and because they feel like, oh, it's very volatile. They feel like they need to be all aggressive with it, but it's not always the case. Like the simplest things can give you like the best results when it comes to trading, and when it comes to trading gold, and when it comes to trading gold on the high time frame, right? If you're patient enough to wait through the process, you can do it. But some people get very distracted with the fact that a lot of other people are getting amazing results on smaller time frames, but you don't know that's taking like those guys to get there, right? It's probably taking them a lot of losses back to back. It's probably taking them a lot of sacrifice, a lot of constant learning and stuff, right? I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible to get to that point as well, where you feel like you are at the stage where you want to make thousands of dollars in 5 minutes, in 2 minutes and stuff, right? But I like to be realistic when it comes to trading, especially given the fact that it's a very risky business, right? So I like to stay on the more realistic side of things, right? And higher time frame does it for me, gives me more peace of mind when I get into a trade. I'm not fazed by any small pullbacks because I understand that pullbacks will happen. And based on the fact that my trade was originally based on the higher time frame, I'm ready for those pullbacks, right? My stop loss is on point, my TP is on point, the risk to reward makes sense for me to actually just stay in the market long enough to watch it, get to either point, TP or SL. Right, so this is just my very simple gold analysis. I'm sure that you have another way of looking at the markets, but if you do look at the market, do I look at the markets? Very simple and straight to the point, right? you'd understand, what's going on right here. So feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think about gold. Let me know what you think gold is headed next. A lot of people think that gold is making like new all-time highs. Some people are predicting like 3,000. Some people are predicting like, it's crazy. People are actually feel like it's going to break this high. I'm waiting for it to break this high, to be honest. If it breaks the high, I'm simply just waiting for like a retest, get like some sort of confirmation. Yeah, what would be a confirmation for me would typically be like probably a hammer candlestick, right? When price comes and does a retest around here or something, and then I'll probably go to the M15 to look for something more interesting. And then the moment I get an entry, I'm going in, right? I'm not even looking back to see that, oh, it's high enough. Maybe price is going to dip. I'm not looking at that, because if it was going to dip, it would have dipped since, right? It's still possible that it's going to dip. Very possible. Anything can happen. Price might not even break out of this, right? Market might just react and just keep dipping and come to a new zone where it feels like it wants to keep going up from again, Anything is possible with the markets. I'm just waiting to react based on the next move it makes. Right now, I don't feel like I need to make any move. I'm just looking to see how price reacts. I personally would not be taking a sell on gold if I see a very valid sell, because I don't want to trade against the trend. And for me, with gold, the moment you get that buy move and the market starts going, it just starts going. You are like on the right side of things. You feel satisfied being on the right side of things. So I'm waiting for that moment, right? If it sells, it sells. But if it breaks above this high and gives me some sort of solid retest and solid confirmation that it's still going to keep going up, then I'll be happy to, take the risk and see how far it goes. But for now, I'm just, sitting on my hands, waiting to see how price moves, right? And to see if there's going to be a trade worth taking sometime this week, right? So that's that about gold. Let me know what you think about the chart. Let me know if you think that this is simple, because I personally think that it is, right? Let me know how you see the markets. Right, so what's your take on gold? Do you think it's going to create like new all-time highs? Feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. If you're coming here for the first time, just watching my videos, my name is Zazie, and once in a while I'll be dropping out some videos showing you very easy ways to look at the markets, because the markets can be very, very easy to understand, right? I get that, some people try to make you feel like it's too complicated and you might not be able to learn it within a certain period of time, but as far as dedication is concerned, as far as you are consistent with the process, nothing is impossible, right? And I personally think that the market can be very simplified into ways that people who have zero knowledge about the financial markets would understand how to some extent it moves. And that's what I try to do here. I try to show you very simple ways that you can look at the markets in a way that it's not too complicated for you, right? And you're able to make sense out of every candlestick that pops up on your charts. So if you like this, do well to give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it, and drop a message in the comment section. Let me know what's going on, what you think of gold, and if there's any pair that you'd like us to check out together, just drop it on the comment section, and we'll probably make a video doing an analysis on the pair. So I'll see you again next time. Until then, yeah, goodbye.